Okay, so Tim has the CROSSFACE and the underhook like this. So we're going through getting out of some bad positions now. So if this is the case, obviously not a lot I can do offense-wise while I'm in this position. Now, I should just go through this, which is getting back to close guard. If they have this hip up like this and you have space to, then you should start trying to bring your frame on the hip, get your right leg through, and then extending with your shin to open this leg out like that as you hip escape. Okay? So you can see my foot goes to the mat, I extend with my shin and I move my hips out to the right. This will allow me to recover to close guard. So, first one, from here, if I can, I want to get frames and recover back to a knee shield half guard from here. If Tim has a lot of pressure with this shoulder, and it's really bothering me, you can sometimes reach to that shoulder and pull back a bit just to alleviate it. So reaching over the top of the shoulder and pulling your elbow tight. So here will give me a little bit of breathing room. The other option is to frame on the hip as well. So sometimes this will take a little bit of his ability to apply pressure away. From here, I'm going to work to get my hand underneath the chin. Let's just move a little bit so you can see. Do my head position anyway. Yeah, however you, that's fine. Good. All right. So I want to get this arm underneath Tim's neck. If he's looking up, that's awesome. I just reach under. I grip on the top of the scapula and I flare my elbow here. Okay, put your head back down now, Tim. This is very hard for him to break through. If I don't grip onto that, sometimes if he's tough, he's gonna just drive his head through my arm, okay? So I have to grip on and flare my elbow like that. Too far is very dangerous because he gets underneath my arm. There's arm triangle potentially. So I'm gripping just here, flaring my elbow, and being aware that he's going to be trying to work his head underneath, so I need to be tracking his head as I do this. Okay. From here, I can work to get my frames back in with my legs. I want to get rid of this CROSSFACE at some point too. So I'm going to hip escape away. We'll have to move around now. If he's really tight, I'll have to use a knee shield first. So I'll show you the worst case scenarios. I'm going to move my left foot away, get my hip to escape, but you always have to keep the half guard trap. Okay? If I ever do this, then he's just going to pass. Okay? So we go back. I keep the half guard locked. I've hipped away as far as I can, and I can't knee shield high at the moment, so I'm going to bring my knee shield underneath, and then there's going to be a push-pull motion. My right leg's actually going to curl back, and my left leg is going to push away. Watch what happens to his hips and his pressure as I do this. Okay? So my knee shield is taking his ability to drive with his arms away from it. Okay? From here now, I can start getting my right hand back in. So we'll have to turn around again. So I've got my frame, I've blocked the hip, I hip away, and I get that knee shield action. Push, pull. Okay? From here, hold this CROSSFACE, Tim. It should be very easy for me to extend my upper body away. Okay. Now that I'm here, Tim's trying to grab my head, but it's very easy for me to come on the inside of the arm, on front of the bicep, and then block reaching over towards the elbow. Now I've got two really good upper body frames. Tim has very little control of my upper body. I can start working to get better positioning with my legs. So from here, hips away, knee comes higher, and it's going to flare out to our knee shield position, which we'll go over in a later section. Okay, but now we've got good positioning. If I am struggling to, let's say Tim's head's tight, and I can't get my hand underneath, okay, I can have, there is one way I can get this forearm through. Actually, let's just turn a little bit. I'm going to bridge with my left leg. I put my left leg out to get some power with this bridge. I'm going to push my shoulder into Tim's head and try and push it as far as I can that way and a little bit upwards. So with this bridge, I'm going to do this, okay? Now that I'm on my side, When I drop, I give a little bit of space, okay? There's a little gap of room. And as I drop, when I want to get that space back, I'm gonna swing this hand in front of the face to get back. You do have to be fast with this. So here, okay? And if you want to be mean, it is a little bit of a grind. If they're really trying to get their face back, like you can't, it will grind a little bit, but it is important that I get this frame, so you just got to push through a little bit. Once more, like so. Another way from the CROSSFACE underhook that I can try to recover, this time to an underhook, which is a really solid position, is by using the John Wayne sweep. So what I'm going to do, I'll just quickly explain it. My feet are going to push pretty much together like this, and I'm going to use my knees like this to off balance Tim this way, okay? When he's in the half guard pressuring me. Best leverage is going to be if my knee catches underneath the leg like that, so I get a really strong push, okay? But you still can do it if you're a little bit off. It can be from here, it can be from a tad deeper as well. So I'm here like this. Maybe I can't get the frames in. What I do, I put my feet together. They have to go pretty wide, okay? So you won't do this here. It's not gonna knock him over. I really have to like catch the outside of Tim's knee with my right leg, and my other leg goes down to the ground next to that. From here, it's a bridge. I actually lift my hips up as I turn this way. Okay? And if I do this well, it's possible to actually sweep. Like it's very possible if I block Tim's arm, that I do this and I come on top. Most of the time, Tim will react, but he can't keep so tight. He has to use, I blocked his leg, so he has to use his arm to balance. So when I do this, he posts. I swim underhook, close to the elbow, okay? I want maximum leverage to turn in, and this is a bigger lever, okay? Here, he's gonna hug tight, and I'm gonna stay stuck, right? So when I do the underhook here, I go close to the elbow, and then as he comes back, I'm gonna bump forward and get out to my side with the underhook. This time Tim's got CROSSFACE, underhook, and he's really tight. I cannot get my frames underneath here, and he's quite far, often like when they're quite far forward as well, or maybe be up on your toes a little bit. Yeah, like you don't feel like you can bump, like this scenario, I can't bump Tim to the side, okay? So my last option is to try to recover to butterfly guard. Again, my right hand will go on the hip. We'll see that in a moment. I'm going to hip away as far as I can. so that I can get my butterfly hook in. Okay. People struggle with this if they don't hip away. So if I try and get my butterfly hook here, you can see that's not going to work. I can even just like trap the leg a little bit, hip out as far as possible. Have a look at my right leg here, just extending Tim's leg a little bit to make sure the butterfly hook will come through. Okay. Now, to get the butterfly, any power in this butterfly, I need to square up. If I tried to sweep Tim here, he'd just kick off and slide control. Okay? Why? Because I'm on my side. I'm already on my side and I got no real control of his base. Trying to kick off is going to be a bad idea here. So I have to square back up underneath. So we hip out, get our hook, and we square back up all the way underneath. Now, Tim, be heavy on that butterfly hook. So keep your hips heavy. Hard for me to lift here. Okay? I got no power while he's got such pressure on my butterfly hook. I need his weight on his upper body and his legs to be light. So my right leg that's in the middle is going to bump forward to get his weight coming forward more to his upper body. I'm going to push up with my right elbow and I'm going to lift with my left leg at the same time. That lets me get my second butterfly hook. Okay. I much prefer to do it this way. So bump forward, lift, and get your second butterfly hook when they're elevated, and then we can push away and sit up. A common mistake is to try to go for 2 butterfly hooks already. Okay, so if I'm here and I go for my second butterfly hook, he's still low and heavy, I can't actually move him, and now I've got nothing to bump him forward. Having this right leg through underneath actually gives me a really good bump, this right leg bumping forward like this. Okay, so we do that, we elevate him, and then we get the second hook, and now I've actually got some strength in my butterfly position to sit him up and potentially go for a sweep from there. Alright, so we're going to have a look at some escapes, escaping out of bad positions. So I'm here working with Jamie, who's a brown belt from our gym. He's known as one of the sweatiest people to roll with, but also he's got an amazing clamp. So when he squeezes his legs, you're really hard to like free himself once he gets like his clamp going. So anyway, we're starting with Jamie at the first position. As you can see, is cross-face underhook. I'll go through some of my strategy. I think a lot of the time we focus a lot on attacks, but here we'll try and focus on defense and getting out of positions. And one of the things I want you to take note of, particularly throughout all these, is that I try to be particularly patient. You know, like often you're in a bad spot, and therefore you don't have the leverage to create movement. You have to wait for them to move, and as they move, you're waiting for that to find the gap that they create. Okay, so let's have a look. So Jamie, first of all, Jamie's got cross-face underhook, and the first thing to note with the pressure he's applying, he really is putting quite a lot of force across, like into the cross-face. Like I think the go-to escape from here is to try to push the head away and do the frame escape, but because his head's like so far over and there's so much forward pressure, if I got the frame in here, it would really push, like if you can watch the arrow here, it would push more like out. I couldn't really get much force to actually push his head away into his neck, so I don't think it'd be that effective as a frame. But you can see every time I go to, so I keep trying to hip away to make a little bit of space and get him back on more on the right side of me. But as I do that, he keeps like following with his hips like that. Okay, so I go to hip escape,
and he moves along. And that might give me a chance to, in a scenario like that where he's following me, I might go for something like a John Wayne sweep, so I could potentially put my feet down and lift my hips. I might even give that a go. Okay, I did try that a little bit. It obviously was unsuccessful. I was hoping to make him post, but if you just look at that, again, I made his leg there lift with that John Wayne pressure just there. You can see my hips are elevated. I'm bridging, and at the same time I've like caught his knee so he can't post out with that knee. I was really hoping if I tilted him a tiny bit more than that, he would have had to post out with that hand, because he can't post with this leg. This hand would have went wide and that would have given me an underhook, but he just managed to keep it. So if you watch that again, it's very subtle. But here, yeah, good. And I missed. Oh, I did get an underhook anyway. It was enough actually, so let's have a look at that again. Oh, hang on. Before that. So I didn't have the underhook. Sorry. So he's got the underhook. I do my John Wayne, boom, and that just made him post a little bit, enough to get my hand fed through. Now he's across my body, so my underhook stays high, remember? I don't want to go towards the hip yet. He'll be able to re-pummel that really easy. I'm trying to bring Jamie's head in line with me here. And he's continually driving across now. Basically, he's trying to push I've managed to trap him in the half guard. He's trying to free his knee out here. That's a great way for him to reclaim the underhook if he does that. Because what's going to happen if Jamie frees his knee over this side, I have to use my left hand now, the one I've got the underhook with. I have to use that to start pushing that knee back, and then he can reclaim that underhook and he's back to, well, a really good spot. So I tried another John Wayne sweep there. Oh, I think he might have got his own underhook back for a moment, but I managed to get my own again with the John Wayne. Let's have a look at that actually, because I think actually Jamie's got somewhere he caught his underhook back, and I'm going to use another little John Wayne sweep just here. Good. And you see that made his hand come out for a moment to post, and I sucked my elbow in. Okay, so now my elbow's inside, and that becomes an underhook. So I've got my left underhook again. Alright, so I've got to take my time here, trying to get my escape going. Something that I think's undervalued, but actually just like trying to bump Jamie forward. So see how I've got my right knee right behind the butt, like lifting my hips in the air and my legs in the air, trying to get his weight forward. If I could, which unfortunately I didn't, but if I could get his shoulder off the top of from under my chin there, that would actually really give me a lot of space to get up. Look at that once more. I got my underhook and I really lift my hips, trying to roll back, trying to find some angle to recover my guard here. Jamie's doing a good job. Alright, really good job at staying tight on the hips, because if I can bring him forward, that makes it easier for me to get out. So he's doing a great job there. Alright, so I've decided to switch to a butterfly hook. Alright, so as I'm trying to escape and Jamie keeps following, I'm realizing this is not working for me. The standard underhook escape, obviously I'd try to get on my side back to half guard, but that's not going to work. So I'm going to try and get my butterfly hook in and start to use that to try to elevate him. Okay, so generally the more forward someone's driving at you, the easier it's going to be to elevate their hips with the butterfly hook. The more back and tight they are on the butterfly hook, it's going to be hard to elevate them, but easier to sit yourself up with frames or get yourself up with an underhook. Okay, so I tried to lift with that butterfly hook. I'm pushing at the same time as you pull in. So there's three things that are really important to elevate for this butterfly hook. One, I got the butterfly hook. I'm pushing upwards with my right hand here, and my right knee is bumping Jamie forward to try and get his weight more forward, so I can then elevate with this right hand and this left leg. Okay, so I try that and it almost works. Okay, see the knees behind the butt, bumping forward, and I'm trying to lift, but Jamie has a very smart counter to this, and this is actually how you counter that move. So I try to bump. Now I had really good positioning. Why didn't that work? Well, have a look at Jamie's right leg. I do this as well on top. We hook underneath, which stops them lifting our hips relative to ours. So I'm bridging and trying to lift, but he's actually hooked underneath my foot and attached his hips to mine. So that's going to render that escape ineffective. Again, see that? His own leg is keeping him attached. I made a bit of space, and actually what I did was I popped my head out the side as he posted. Okay, so now I've got good positioning. I'll go back to that in a moment. But now I'm actually out the side. Much harder for Jamie to control the position here. And he lost his balance, so he was so focused on his leg positioning and keeping tight that he forgot about his post there. But let's just look at where I got that head out the other side. So I was trying to elevate with the butterfly hook, and because he was posting here like this, he's posting on the mat and he's really trying to keep this, but it's hard for him to keep good balance because that narrows his base, so I'm able to tuck my head out the back, and here we are. Alright, so that's part one. Alright, so I get to start from crossface and underhook again, lucky me. And again, Jamie's applying good pressure. This time I managed to get my elbow in as a good frame pretty early. So I'm actually underneath his head with my forearm. Notice this grip, again, really important. It's on the scapula. That gives my elbow strength. If you don't have your grip over there and you're trying to just push away, you're going to be weak. Other hand is on the hip, pushing up. And I managed to get my right leg in a fair bit. So this is already a really good start for me. How did I manage to do that? So let's have a look. Now notice I'm pushing at the knee, or near his knee, with my forearm and elbow, which is going to give me room. I'm on my right side, so my knee can come through this gap here. Yeah, as it starts to swing through, that's good. Now it comes up a little bit close to the hip. Now this isn't amazing position to recover from. I will see Jamie's probably got a good chance at defending that, so he's already pulling up on my arm, trying to remove that from the hip, which will then allow him to walk away from where that knee's caught. And obviously he's starting to drop his hip a little bit, trying to prevent that knee from coming through. So I'm on my side, blocking this arm. I probably shouldn't have allowed him to get that crossface, but I did. I was more focused on the leg. And he's again walking into me. So he's actually reclaimed that leg here. Where did he get that back? I was focusing on what I was doing. It's actually quite a while ago. So he's just pushed that leg and managed to reclaim it there. So I lost my positioning there. I probably should have actually focused on this arm now and not let him get control of that arm. But I was silly, and I started focusing on the hips, and that allowed him to use that arm to gain more control. Alright, so there's another little John Wayne attempt trying to get Jamie to post. I got my frame back again. And he's really leaning over to the side. I got my butterfly hook again now, just like in the previous one. It's really hard when his hips are switched like that. It's hard to use a butterfly hook, because when I try and if I like open my legs too much, he can actually flick out of the leg. So I'm actually sort of holding his leg so his other leg can't come out too far this way. So we're getting stuck in this position. Jamie's keeping his hips switched, putting good pressure with the crossface, keeping me flat. I really want to get my hand underneath this hip to help lift. Alright. So what's happened here, I've managed to get double underhooks here. So both of Jamie's hands are on the mat. I've managed to pummel 2 underhooks. I've basically connected my hands and flared my elbows, trying to get Jamie as far forward relative to me as possible. He's countering that with his legs being locked like so. So I've got the butterfly, and I've got this knee behind, which is good. But he's really like locked into my hips, using that squeeze that I was talking about earlier. Alright, he actually manages to smash my legs here, which is not great for me, but my one saving thing here, so I actually tried to elevate, but he's countered that with that leg smash, which is really a really good way to go about it. Okay, so we see here, I went to lift and Jamie's taking my legs together. The only bad thing is he actually can't control me with his upper body because he's so far forward. Even though he's got my legs smashed, I can start to get up. And we do end up in quite a strange position. Again, this is Jamie's leg squeeze that he's got. It's really hard for me to free my legs. And he's trying to free his arms while maintaining his leg control. I'm trying to free my legs while maintaining arm control here. And I think, from memory, I go for a Kimura grip off this one. Just to kind of, I don't even know what it's for, to be honest. It's a very odd position to land in. Typical of Jamie. If you watch Jamie in the gym rolling with all the, with anyone actually, they usually just got a utter look of frustration on their face because he gets these leg entanglements like this and he'll just hold someone there. He rolls with the same person for a good 40 minutes and they get furious. But here I am. I got out towards the back. Alright, good work, Jamie.
Yeah. Alright. This is another scenario where Tim has the underhook, but now his head's on this side. Which my chair, I can't frame now. There's no way I get my hand in to actually get any leverage to push him away. So I'm going to try to recover my underhook from here. This is a little counterintuitive, this movement, but it is really effective. First thing I need to do, try to free this arm. If I get on my side, a little bump with my left knee behind the hips can help to bring his weight forward and give me a chance to free the arm. Okay, but I have to start trying to free this arm, circle it, and get it tight to my body here like this. Keep your head down. Good, okay? Or just, if I can get my hand, my bicep, posting against Tim's, that's good now. At least I've got some control of the positioning. The problem is if he's got my arm, I can't turn on my right, okay? I need to be able to turn on my right to do this escape. So again, we can bump, we can start pummeling. Okay, cool. Now I've got some control. I've got an ability to turn on to my right. So I'm gonna bridge up. I'm going to swing all the way, pretty much belly down, on my right side. So bridge, take this arm over, blocking this space, and then my left elbow is going to come tight. I want this to be an underhook, but you can see Tim's making it difficult because he's got his chest in the way. This is where another little bump with my left knee is going to open a little bit of space for me to take the underhook and back into a really good offensive position. We're here like this. I'm going to start turning, bumping, trying to work to get this inside grip. Or just have this arm out of the way. From here, bridge, so left leg has gone wide to bridge. I'm going to turn all the way over, like this, okay? I need enough room that my elbow comes on the inside of his head here. It cuts back. I can't get it through because of his chest positioning, so Tim's doing a really good job there. But I've got my left knee to bump and go through to get the underhook. Let's have a look at some angles on that.
Alright, this time we're starting from, this is a position I really like to pass from, which is a underhook on one side and a grip on the arm on the other side with the head on the near side. So Jamie's sort of over here. Also, I'm not sure if this is Jamie's favourite pass, because I usually actually, when I do this on top, I'll actually sprawl a lot out to my left. I don't want my weight on top, because that lets him get like a potentially useful butterfly hook. So this might be slightly different to the position that I prefer, but let's see. So I've worked my arm to the other side. Let's have a look at that again. Why did I do that? So he's got his head there. He's got his head on the left side. I tried to turn in. I wanted to turn all the way on my right side and get my elbow back. That's usually how I defend this. When someone has a good underhook and their head on the other side. But Jamie's actually taken his head back to this side as that happened. And he has a chance at the arm triangle, but not really, because my arm's actually blocking. You can see my hand's actually blocking his hand from being able to connect. Now I'm using I don't use the lockdown that often, but this is one time that I do use the lockdown. When someone's so much forward pressure and I want to just get the weight a little bit off me, because my hands are really stuck now. So this is where I start configuring my legs for the lockdown like that, and I start pushing away. You see that just takes his weight a little bit off me, gives me a chance to try to free my arm again. So I don't think I got in the best position by swinging my arm over that side, because his head wasn't quite so far on that far end. Now Jamie's gone for the Khabib. If this is MMA, I'd be in all sorts, but luckily it's not MMA, it's Jiu-Jitsu. So he's caught my arm here, let's see, and he's got a crossface at the same time, so he's got good positioning. He started out with good positioning, but he's still got quite good positioning, potentially even better now than where he started. I managed to pummel my underhook through that gap. Let's have a look at that, because that's what's really saved me there. Okay. So Jamie's trying to get good control here, but in backing away he actually let my elbow come back through, and it's gone nice and high as an underhook. Now I just need to free my arm. Well, I don't even, he's tried to backstep, but even with my arm there, I've done the Jedi mind trick. So I've put my hook to the top leg, and if I can free my arm and my head, I'm going to be out on his back, but no doubt that's going to be difficult to do. So I've ended up in a strange position here. I'd probably ignore any technical advice I give here, because there's not a usual position. It's almost actually looks somewhat like a berimbolo. So actually, if I free my arm, I'm halfway through a berimbolo. Yeah, here we are. Good. So now I got my leg position, and I'm going to go for the back. Starting again from underhook and head on the near side. Jamie controlling my elbow. He's gone for, he wanted the near side underhook for a moment, but he's blocked that there. So again, I have to be patient a little bit. There's not a lot of space for me to work with, so it's the tiniest little gaps I'm looking for, and just incrementally trying to get little grips that might, work to off balance him. So I've managed to get to the half butterfly again, which is obviously a pretty decent upgrade, especially when my hips are facing a little more to the left like that. If they're facing to the right, he can potentially kick off. But at the same time, Jamie has managed to get control under both of my arms. He's got the double underhooks, which is definitely not good for me. I basically can't use my arms at all when they've got double underhooks. So let's see, I managed to get that back. Okay, so how did I get my arms back from there? My left elbow. Alright, let's have a look at that again. So he's got double underhooks. I'm able to frame a little bit with my right hand, enough that my elbow comes in, and when I turn to my side I can suck my elbow to the ground, and now I've freed that arm. So that's not a bad one for escaping this position. Here both my arms are caught. I get my I managed to get enough space to get a frame with my right arm, and then when I get my left elbow inside that same space that the frame is making, I can now turn to my side and get that elbow down. Okay, now I've got my underhook again, which is definitely a much better position than the double underhooks. Now I've got my second underhook and brought Jamie forward, and then there was a weird transition there, and I think I ended up with a heel hook, but let's just have a look at the transition there. So I get my second underhook and I push Jamie forward, elevating with that hook. So I've really brought his weight far too forward. I think he's tried to turn that into a rolling back take as a way of trying to salvage the position, and that gives me a chance for the outside heel hook.
Alright, now Tim's gone for a switch base half guard position. I will go over how to react to them when they go for this, which is slightly different. We're going to do that in the knee shield section, which is often the time when they go for this. But we're going to assume we are now in the switch base position, and how we can approach to recover from here. So, if you can, from here, try to keep above the line of the knee. Tim's going to be working to free his knee, which gives him a lot more options. He's a bit closer to freeing his leg or going back to the knee cut from here. So I want to make sure, if I can, I keep this locked. All right, from here, I'm going to try and get this underhook back. Now, Tim's done a really good job at being tight here. There's no way you're going to pummel your underhook here. So you're going to have to do, again, something that feels counterintuitive, but start turning belly down. So from here, my right arm will go above my head, and I start going belly down here like this. Okay, Tim, what can you do from here? Good. He's going to give me the underhook if he does that, which is good. But yeah, although you feel a bit vulnerable being here, there's not actually too much that Tim can do offensively. Now from here, I can work to get my left arm as an underhook. So I lift up, I start to take my elbow through and bump forward with my knees now. See this curl? Bump forward and underhook, okay? Now, really, really important. The Kimura is a big problem from here. If I underhook around the hip, he will take the Kimura and I am in big danger, okay? So when I underhook here, it has to track the back of his tricep, preferably close to the armpit. So catch the Kimura now, Tim. So keeping the arm here is going to make it very difficult for Tim to get the Kimura. Okay. Now if I can from here, I'm going to use my legs to actually free Tim's knee. So I'll let his knee go free now, and I try to turn it so it goes to the inside. I'm starting to scoot out towards this way relative to Tim. Okay. So I've got the underhook, we get up here, Tim will probably recover here, and we're gone back to our underhook half guard position. So again, here. Notice this knee wedge, okay? So I don't want him to go to 3/4 mount. My left knee, I've caught the ankle and knee. So I'm forcing his knee down to this side of my body using this scissor sort of action. Try and go to 3/4 mount, Tim. I force him up to here while I've got the underhook. Same initial movement. Again, I can't do much just here. What I'm gonna do, actually, one thing generally as a principle, the lower his hips, the further he is from passing. So Tim will want his hips right up in front of my shoulder. And this is gonna make it hard to use my arms at all. So if we go back, when you are in this position, block, try to like shuffle them down a bit more. This is much worse for Tim. Now, if I get the chance, I'm gonna switch my, if I've got the room, my left leg's gonna switch and catch the top leg here, like this. So again, I had like a cross. At the moment, both feet have to work to try to hold Tim in and prevent him from freeing his knee. If I get enough room that my left leg can do that job, it's gonna come over and it's gonna hook like this. From here, same motion. But now I can free my right leg, okay? Tim cannot pass from here, okay? So I've gone belly down. I'm gonna start to get up. I'm gonna bring my right knee through this gap. Get up, right knee comes through. I can grip onto the hip, and I'm gonna start moving towards the back. Okay. If you keep this hook, this is really nice because it puts pressure on their hip and their knee and prevents them from escaping as we take the back. Reaching over the hip as you do this. Up, shoot your knee through. A lot of the time when you do that, they'll bail halfway and you'll end up back in a regular half guard position or potentially closed guard. Yep. Again, work to get the hips lower. Sometimes you might not be able to catch this hook properly or even at all. What I can do, if I get the hip and I get this positioning and I keep my chest tight against the back, sometimes I can even let Tim outside the legs, okay? Like this. And so go to pass Tim. As he goes to pass, I start walking my feet away, belly down, okay? Keep getting to your knees. And we come up into this, essentially a 50-50 position. We're both going to be trying to take each other's backs here. Okay, so what I would work to do from here, you come up to this, each having a hip grip position. If you can straighten your leg out, sit to your left hip, and start to pull the far hip towards you, we can go for the back again. So Tim switched over. I can grip the hip. Once I so push him down, it will be hard to do if you try this from high up again. So push down, catch, get up onto your arm. As Tim frees his leg, I start going belly down too. Okay, I'm gonna get up, shoot my left leg across. Okay, this is good because it means I can sit on my left hip, but it also sort of blocks Tim from being able to bring his leg around towards my back. Okay? If Tim wanted to take my back, he'd bring this leg around. Okay? So by straightening out and starting to sit on my left hip, putting my right leg out, I've now just got to watch him jumping over the far side. So I pull his hips across me here like this. Okay? And we can start to work towards the back. Sorry. Go for your leg. Alright, so one other option is to go towards deep half. I'd probably favor this more, like the more I can get him down, the better for my recovery, but this time maybe Tim's gone too high like this. It's going to be really difficult for me to do those attacks if he's got to the point where my frames don't work like this. Okay, so you see my arms are up. So I'm going to try now to find room, use some little bridges or little movements of my hips to get a little wiggle room to get my hand through the gap underneath this top leg. So I'm going to try to move and reach this hand underneath this leg. Okay. Now from here, I'm okay to start freeing the knee and going more towards the ankle. I want to reach to here and I want to start bumping Tim's knee towards the ground. So I use my legs like this. Again, using this scissor motion, I catch the ankle with my left leg and the knee with my right leg to start bumping Tim forward. At the same time, my right arm is trying to bring his hips even higher. The higher his hips go, the more likely I can get to deep half. So I start doing this. Okay. And now I'm in deep half guard. Okay. So here, can't get anything through. Wiggle, move, get underneath. Reaching to this hip, guys. Okay, this leg's not gonna help bring it forward. I need like a bump so that when I go flat on my back and I bridge, it's bumping his hips forward. Okay? And turning this way, get his hands posting out over there, get his weight that way a little bit. Okay, slowly, I'm working down the body until my head sits in front of the hip. So finishing position. I want to be holding the hip, head in front of his hip. Do not give him the underhook. Okay, this is going to be horrible. Deep half guard no gi, I'm not a huge fan. I like to go to the waiter sweep position, which we'll go over later. So as soon as we're here, we'll be looking to go to the waiter, keeping our elbow tight, so it's hard to get the underhook, holding onto the hip. Head either resting on the leg or close to the hips, but never on the ground like this. One extra little detail here. When Tim's knees, like you might end with him like this, which we don't want to be. So I just want to scoot, like square my hips back up, pulling this hip and walking my feet here, but flattening like facing my hips to the roof as well. So I keep the pinch and I start to do this, and it gets us into a much better position. Okay, we don't want this knee down on the ground near, being in a lot of trouble. Okay.
So we're working from switch base or crossbody side control now. So another very difficult, one of the most common questions I get is how do you get out, or what do you do when someone does this to you? Okay, so first of all, I don't want Jamie to free his right knee. So I try to keep my left leg over the top of that knee. Let's just go back to that. Okay, so here I don't want Jamie to be able to push this down, so keeping this above the line of his knee if possible. And I'm kind of stuck here. Like, I'm not going to push him any lower, but at least he's low enough that I can frame with my forearms, which is really good. Now, we don't want him higher, which we will work from in a moment, just to show you how I try to approach that. But I'm going to try and get up on this right elbow, which is going to give me a lot of space. Right now there's no space. But when I get up on my elbow and start to like push up a bit, it's going to give me a lot more space. There's the elbow. Okay. Lets me hip escape a bit, and now there's actually like a gap underneath my, between his hips and my chest. There's actually like a good gap now that I can try to work with. Yeah, but we'll see some funny transitions here. So I'm going to grip onto the hip, which is actually like, I have a chance here. If I manage to like give a good bridge, I can actually bridge over and get on top. But it's just hard for me to bridge because of the leg positioning. But I think that's actually how I end up sweeping him. It's just there's a few things happen before that. So I'm trying to ensure that I have good. Yes. Okay, this is what I'm working for. Okay, good. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Actually, Jamie will like this because he's actually really good at this guard himself. So we're in the octopus guard now, and I'm working to take my left leg, this one, and hook it in Jamie's right leg, and you'll see when I get it. Okay, so it's starting to get there, and there we go, it's hooked. I believe I showed this sweep. So now I've hooked his shin. All I have to do now is free my right leg, this one that's poking through. I've got to free that by lifting with this hook, and I'll have a chance at Jamie's back. So I get up. Jamie's, he knows this move, so he's making it difficult for me. Oh, and that's okay. I don't get his back with that. It's another one where I actually use this same thing. We'll have a look at that later. But so because he knew that move was coming, he actually didn't post. But if he had posted, I would have had a chance at going to his back. All right, so I just bridged over, and we get the sweep. All right, we start from crossbody or switch base side control again. This time I sort of started with my arms like more above my head, so it's really got higher, which sucks for me a lot. Okay, and I talk about this, but this little bump I did. Okay, I wanna get a bit of space here because it's gonna give me some chance to move. So my right leg curled over like that is gonna post. I'm gonna put that leg on the mat, staying real tight and like do almost like a John Wayne little sweep to the left. Yes, good, like that. And just notice that let me get my elbow back in. So as I did that with my legs, my elbow gets in, and now I've actually got some ability to block the hip, at least a little bit, okay? Or at least to get onto my side now and turn. So I'm turning, and this might give me a chance to get this underhook. That's definitely one possibility. Yes. So this arm's coming back. And I've come back over the top with that arm. I could have tried to come through for an underhook there. I've gone back to this octopus grip, and I'm back to trying to hook his leg, so I've got a better chance of this octopus guard sweep now. This, to be honest, guys, this isn't that, like, I don't usually find this sweep that often. I know it's there and I do use it, but so just so you know, in case, like, it's, like, I think it's very dependent on your opponent's reaction. Okay, I don't get the full octopus hook, but I'm basically going to get the same sweep. So normally I would actually like this foot hooked around Jamie, the front of Jamie's shin here, but he's got his leg in a different position, so I can't. But I've managed to free my right leg out here like this. So it's basically like I'm in closed guard. Okay, or if I keep him down, that's going to turn into the back. So I cross my legs, and I'll roll up to mount. Okay, so let's just have a look at that again. So I've got the hip. I managed to trap his foot. Now, good, and I free my bottom leg. That's what I wanted to get free in that last clip, and now I'm working to free my right leg. Once that's free, once we're free, I keep pressure down so he can't posture up. So there's a lot of downward pressure with this left arm, and he's running away so he doesn't get his back taken, but that lets me get on top. I'm gonna do some more specific training from the crossbody. This time I'm trying to work my right hand through underneath this leg to try to pull myself towards deep half guard, which is definitely another option you got here. So you see my right hand's fed through. It's actually a really good option from here, especially when they're so high up like Jamie is. So obviously I want them down lower near my hips, they're further away from passing. When they're that high up, this is a really nice option. Okay, and now I'm trying to like make some space to get my right arm back. So see that? Let's just watch that again. Maybe even further back. I got my arm in now. I want it high, not near the knee, but near the hip, if I can. Actually, eventually it'll get towards the knee. But I've bridged over and I've swung my elbow over the top. I really wanted to bring that through, but he's blocked that, so I couldn't get that through. I swung the other way and then back. Good. And that little bump gave me my elbow back through. Okay, so now I've got a better chance at getting underneath towards the deep half. The way Jamie's posting, he's basically let me roll him forward. Okay, so this one's a bit different to how I would have expected it to go. He's going for the crossface, so you can see there's nothing that Jamie's got posting out here. Sometimes you just have to sense these things. Obviously you can't necessarily see that, but well, maybe you can see the hands in front of you. And I want to bring Jamie's hips up more towards my head and extend his leg away from his body. I'm trying to do that, so I'm trying to pull the leg this way and his other leg away from him, which is going to off balance him. He's posted with his right hand, but he actually, if I do a little back roll here, he ends up rolling over. It wasn't necessarily my intent to get the sweep, but once I felt his weight, there was a chance that we were going to go there. And let's see where we actually end up. So that could have been a sweep. Maybe it won't be a sweep. Yeah, it's a sweep.
So we're in underneath 3/4 mount now. I managed to get frame on the hip, and I want to try to recover from here. Really important point when you are in this position, don't expose your tricep, okay? He will take my back for sure. So the frame on the hip has to be with the elbow, this elbow, on the outside of the hip, and we can frame across like this, okay? But never turn like that. You're gonna be in a lot of trouble if you do that. Now, two main options, or three main options. The most obvious one is to push just back into half guard. The problem is, if I push, so I use my elbow to push on Tim's knee here like this, and I get the leg back into half guard. The real problem with this is that Tim just pushes my leg and he comes back. So especially, he's usually like cross-facing and turning me away. So as much as I've done a good job at doing this, it doesn't really get me back facing him. I want to be on my other side in the half guard. So what I'm going to do from underneath the 3/4 mount, or the what I think are higher percentage recoveries, I'll still do this motion, but I might be looking for the reaction to try to counter. Okay. First one is trying to get back to a butterfly guard. So as I push out here like this, and Tim starts to recover, I'm going to block the hip and actually try and push his hip this way. So my right elbow is a little bit angled to do this. Again, it's another reason why it's really important to have your hip on the outside of your elbow on the outside of the hip. Just pop up for a second. So this is pushing like that to push his hip this way. If you're here with your frame, you won't get any purchase on that movement. So I'm here, I free the leg. As Tim goes back, I push that way with my elbow, and I get my right butterfly hook in like that. It's going to be facing sideways at first. What I'm waiting for here, I'll keep trying to recover. As he starts to scoot back, I flare it out and lift. Okay? And that's going to give me a chance to recover. So it's like a sideways butterfly. We're flaring the leg, and as he comes back, I roll to my back and I lift. Yeah. So we're here, blocking the leg. I'm going to push sideways as he starts to recover from this. Okay, now I've got room for my right leg. From here, Tim goes to go back, and I can start to lift, push him up, recover back to a good half guard. Common mistake is to push well, not a mistake, but because if you can get this butterfly, like a lot of people try to think about getting their bottom leg as a hook, but this is really awkward. I don't really get any purchase on it. I actually just focus on the top leg like this. Okay. Last thing, with your frame, a lot of people teach frames like this, where both hands are together. I don't get much outward, like Tim, keep your knee tight. I get no pressure outwards when my frame is like this. What I want is my elbow down with my hand pointing this way. So now Tim will feel the difference. I can actually use my core and my elbow because I'm facing his leg much better than when I'm like this. Okay, this is a weak movement. This is a strong movement. Okay, so we want one frame here, one frame here. They can't Americana you. They can try. Go. My elbow's tight. I'm on my side. If he goes to do that, he's gonna just give me more space.
Yep.
If you ever end up somewhere like this, 3/4 mount, or it could even be half guard where both your arms are above your head, this sucks. Okay, actually, do you want to put your arms even higher? So especially when he's a bit higher on my elbows here, and I literally cannot push down at all. There's no way I'm overpowering him by pulling my arms down. So I need to use tiny little movements, and sometimes you just wait for them to move to try to recover. But I'm going to just work a little bit on how to try to work to get my arms back. So Tim's not going to give me the space to reach underneath his head, so he's going to keep his head down, and that's difficult. Okay, so I can do a little bridge and push the head as I do that, and I really want to push his weight out this way. So again, if I can make him post just a little bit, it might give me some room to move. Okay, so we're gonna go here, and I'm gonna bridge and push. Actually, it's not so much a bridge as like just a curl. Because if I bridge, I have to open my legs, which means he's gonna go to mount. Okay, I'll show you what I do with my legs in a sec. Okay, so we're here, and I can just like push a little bit. Okay, I've just turned a tad. Not too much that he's going to take my back, but coming under here now, I've got the underhook, potentially swimming my hand through underneath the chin. So again, when we're here, we can turn and push. Okay, that's giving me a chance to underhook or even just block. Okay, once you get the block, Tim goes back to his control again, but I've got room now. Okay, I start working free, and ideally, what I want from a position like this is my arms in front of the hips. Okay, if I can block Tim's hips from being from going higher, that's going to be good, and I can start attacking the legs. All right. Now, one extra thing with my legs for this. Really try to get used to in half guard, controlling their leg with one of your legs. Otherwise, I'm stuck doing a pinch. If I'm pinching, I've got no mobility at all. So if I can, even when I'm in double underhooks, I can step on the instep here, sorry, on the top of his foot, curl back and push my hips in. Okay, free your leg, Tim. So you can see it's just my right leg now. Using this pressure, now I've actually got some movement in my left leg. So if I manage to get a chance to push on his leg, I can actually move my left leg to come back. If I was just pinching and I try to open to get that back, he's gonna recover. Okay. So having this backwards curl and pushing your hips down, so I actually put my foot, curl it, foot on the mat, and bridge it downwards this way to put pressure on the knee. Free your knee. It's just my one leg, okay? Really difficult for Tim to free. And also what this does, let's say you're keeping your knee tight. You might be keeping his knee tight, hard for me to get at. When I do this motion, it flares his knee out. So it actually opens it up more to give me a chance to recover. We can sometimes go from this 3/4 mount position into the deep half guard. So what I'm going to look to do here, this is generally like the timing I would do for this is if this knee was tight, but I had room to get my hand underneath. So I'm trying to push back and make some space here. That's too tight, but I feel like my right hand can go through the gap. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to reach as I bump forward to create even more of a gap, like this. I bump forward and I reach my hand through elbow deep, okay? This is not gonna help me really at all. I don't wanna get stuck here. I wanna get my elbow deep, okay? Like this. Now, obviously you have to, see I've opened my legs. What's saving me is that I'm blocking the knee with my left forearm. I wouldn't do this if I was like that. Tim would just step over to mount like this, okay? So if I'm blocking this leg here, he goes to step over to mount, he's kind of stuck like that, okay? So again, we block the leg, a little bump, as we start to reach our hand through, elbow deep and high at the hips, okay? Not here. This is no good. I could potentially get my back taken. Okay, so up nice and high near the hips. And then I'll reinforce my arm now with another bump. And I'm basically trying to get Tim's hips over the top of my shoulder, like this. Okay? Now his hips are over the shoulder. I'm gonna try and put my head on top of this far leg, and I got the deep half guard position. Knees pinched together. For me, I don't like to play a lot of deep half guard no-gi because you do have to watch out a lot for the Kimura. So what we're gonna do from here, try to block their knee from going down to the mat. And as Tim's trying to put that down, I don't want to just stay where I am. I have to walk to my left with my feet to stop his knee going to the mat. So I keep my elbow tight, do not give him the underhook. I'm blocking the leg, and I walk this way. So try and put your knee to the mat too. Keep walking under, pulling down with my right hand, like this. Let's turn that angle again. Yeah. So, to stop this knee going down, pulling hard with my right arm down towards the mat, pinching my knees and walking this way as I block the leg. So Tim's going to put that knee down. I'm walking against that, trying to square up. Okay. From here, again. Once I feel like his hips are starting to settle a bit, all I'm going to do, frame, swing my legs back, and we're going to go back to either knee shield or a reverse de la Riva position from here.
Alright, this time we're starting from 3/4 mount when Jamie has double underhooks. Again, another horrible position to start from. You don't want to get stuck here, but we're going to see the little things I try to do to get out of these things I would say are bad half guards. Okay, alright, I managed to get back pretty quick there. Let's see, how did I do that? So I'm trying to get my elbows in. Jamie's doing what you should do, which means his elbow's at a line where I can't I pull my elbow back down by my side, it gets blocked. Okay, same on this side. You want on top, you want as wide of a post as possible while still controlling the elbows, which is exactly what Jamie's doing. Okay, if you control too tight in the armpits, yes, they can't get their arms back, but you also don't have good base. So having a wider post like this is much more beneficial for Jamie. But maybe it was slightly too wide, because it looks like me just two things here. Okay, I use this. Okay, so maybe I must have sensed that I was almost through with this left elbow. It's almost enough to get that back. You can see it won't though, okay, as it is now. But my right hand, which looks like a blur right now, is going to push Jamie's head a little bit towards me, and as that happens, his whole trunk's going to move a little bit to the right. And then as that happens, this gap will open a little bit for my elbow to slip. There you go. See, I've pushed him a little that way, and that's given me enough room now to suck my elbow through. And now I'm back in a position where I can start using my arms, or at least my left arm. My right arm's still stuck. Jamie's working to get that back. The Americana is not really a threat while I'm on my side. It's only if I'm on my back that I'm worried about the Americana, the submission, but I still would rather that doing something. Alright, Jamie's maybe being a bit silly, going for a rolling back take. He had good positioning there, so anyway. And we're going to turn that back against him just to punish him and end up on top. Starting again from 3/4 mount with Jamie having double underhooks, and I managed to get my arms back reasonably quick there. Let's see why or how I got that time. I think he just didn't have great control of. So I've just got him on my side, pinching obviously, guys, pinch your knees together here, and that's going to stop the foot from freeing. It's not so much a triangle, but a pinch of the knees that'll do that. I'm not sure how I managed to reclaim control here. I don't seem to have any great leverage to do so. Let's see what I do with my legs. Maybe I did something with my legs to off balance him. So his hands are gone. He's got a reasonably narrow base here. Maybe that's what's made him post. I scooted my, yeah, okay, so that can be a way to like shift. I wouldn't think that would make him post too wide, but so what I actually do with my legs, I often try, see how his knees really tight against my hips here? You will see me like extend, I keep my knees pinched, but I extend my hips, so I push it like they're pinched and they circle away a bit, trying to open his knee out. Just watch that. Like that. Okay, I try to open a bit of space, because if I get my elbow back, I want it on the inside of that knee. So use that action occasionally, like that. But this time he's stopped that, and then I've scooted underneath a little bit with my legs. So I've opened my legs, and it's like a curl down with my right leg, and a curl up as I like scoot underneath, like a reverse hip escape with my left leg. Maybe that's just what off balanced him a little bit here, and gave me a chance to get my forearm in. And that's the annoying thing about this, his knee is tight, so I can't get my elbow in front. Alright, so I'm going to deep half guard this time, which is definitely a good option from the 3/4 mount. So now I take my right arm and I feed it between the legs. There you go, see that there? And now my aim is really, once I'm here, my aim is to like get lower down on this leg. So basically get Jamie's hips higher up on me, basically above my head, as I get lower down. But I don't want to have his knee on the ground as I do that, so I'm going to start walking my hips to my left. As I try to bring his hips up, I want to walk to my left so that I get underneath that knee. I don't want his knee on the ground as I do this. So that's me walking to my left, trying to bump forward, using my arm to try to bump his hips forward. Now Jamie's countering that. I want to bring him higher, so what does he do? He's going to triangle his, or like cross his legs together like that, okay? Trying to stop himself going forward, okay? But that does give him a very, his base is not so good here. Let's see what happens. I knock his base around a bit, trying to make him undo those legs. Yeah, he has undone them, but he's gone overcommitted too much. I think he's going for my head here, trying to get a guillotine, but I think that'll let me roll up on top. So I bridge here, it should be. Yeah, if I just, oh no, I should have been able to get on top, but I didn't. I've come to waiter sweep. Okay, so as he's come back, waiter sweep. So I'm basically in deep half, but I'm waiter sweep. Position, and this is going to go to modified X guard.
Alright, so Tim's got the underhook and he's doing a knee through pass. Obviously I'm in a really bad spot here. Similar thing to before, when the head's on this side and they got the underhook, I have to overcommit turning in. Okay, so I'm gonna need to free this arm somehow. The best I can, do a little bump forward to give yourself a chance to control that arm. So we go side on. My right leg, I need to keep him trapped still because I can't let go here. He will pass. But if I can just point my knee up a bit, just a little bump like this should help. Just give me a little bit of room with my right hand to swim back in front of the arm. Okay. All right. Once I got this free, if I can, once this is free, I want to get it up and out like this. Okay, all the way out of the way, so Tim can't control it again. Yeah. So much so that I can actually get my chest facing downwards. From here, left elbow comes over the top, so even if Tim keeps tight here, I can start to bring my elbow through this gap, okay? Don't worry, he cannot take my back with this leg trapped. So I could turn my back here. Well, maybe you could get a good harness. But if that leg stayed trapped, if I was strong enough to keep that leg trapped, he would not be able to take the back, okay? So if we go back one step, obviously I don't let that happen, but when I turn here like this, I do have to be confident that it's okay to free my elbow to the inside. Okay. Now, I will start to push back a little bit and try and scoot backwards. The lower down I am on Tim, the better chance I have of getting the underhook. So from here, I can't get the underhook, but I can push off my hands and scoot back. Okay. So here, push off my hands, scoot back, and now I can start to bring my elbow through underneath and catch the underhook here. You might also get a chance to block this leg. If you can block that leg, once I'm holding this knee, I actually have a little more opportunity to open my legs and bump. Okay? When I bump, that will give me a chance to get the underhook even further. Okay? I'll just do that fast now.
This one we're starting from the knee cut position. Jamie's got the underhook. This is a horrible position to start from. You don't want to start from here. And he's got control. You can see he's got double underhooks here, at least at the moment. Both underhooks plus knee cut. This is not good. So usually from here, what I try to do is like, hopefully if I can get their weight out a little more this way, I can start turning too much on my side and getting my underhook back through to get there. We'll see if that happens. So even here it's possible. If I swing my arm over the top, I can tuck through this space and get my underhook. Yes, I've gone under. And then I want to like, there's no gap here because he's so tight there. So I want to like bump Jamie forward, and that will make a gap. But he's actually like swinging his leg back to counteract that. So we'll see where that takes us, because he's almost trying to do a back step now. But maybe I get enough room. Okay, I'm now actually in like a Jedi mind trick sort of position. So I've actually, because he's backstepped, I've actually taken you can't really see it, but my left foot is going to hook just like we do with the Jedi mind trick. You can see that there now. I think I've taken a hook. So now, if I'm able to get my underhook, I should have a chance of doing the Jedi mind trick. Okay, so see that now you can see. So I've actually taken my left foot and hooked. Instead of crossing my feet, I'm hooking. Now I'm just trying to work, basically trying to work Jamie to bring Jamie forward, get him to post on the mat in front of me and bring my head out the back. Let's see. Little movements. Okay, there's the underhook, good. And I'm controlling his arm here, so that's going to give me a chance when I bump him forward to get my head out the back. Alright, my head's out the back. I've got the hook. Jamie's trying to attempt some sort of leg entanglement now. It cannot work while I've still got this hook. He needs to free my foot from being a hook for that to work. So as long as I'm really focused on that hook, this is definitely an advantageous position for me. Okay, I unhooked but swung out on top, landed in the mount. We're going to start from the knee cut, double underhooks again. So not a good position, knee cut with double underhooks. There's one time where I did get past. I think this might be it. Yeah. Jeez, that was horrible. I lost his leg pretty early. But I was unable to recover. So usually I actually like to use this hand to push that through and recover. Jamie does a great job at hiding that foot, and I'm unable to recover in time. But basically when he passes with my arms above my head, let's just see how. So what I would usually be trying to do here, I want to curl and catch his foot with my top leg and do like a reverse hip escape, scoot underneath and try and tilt Jamie backwards, like kind of the same action you do for the roll under sweep. That you can check the underhook half guard section for that if you want to see the mechanics of that. But I'm going to try to like off balance him here, but I think when I try to adjust my feet here, I actually lose the whole leg. Yeah, so I actually wanted to catch. I want my right foot, my top leg, to catch over his foot, but it's not quite there. And I think I tried to adjust for that, like use my right then my left to do it, but I actually missed the whole thing. So now he's flicked free. and he's out. So if you look at that again, I want my so this is his leg. When my right foot didn't quite catch it right, and yeah, he's freed it. So hard to explain verbally without showing, but I was hoping to catch that foot a bit different, and in the process he's managed to free his leg and he's out. Alright, we're here with, once again, from knee cut with double underhooks. We have another go at trying to get out from here. Jamie, good, a lot of forward pressure. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so in the previous video, what I wanted to do was catch with my shin like that over his foot. I didn't have that, okay, because that gives me much better power to use that leg. Okay, I've just locked a triangle, which is going to keep him. That triangle is tight enough, and the pinch between my knees together will stop that foot from being able to slide through that gap. You never want to lose that foot at this stage early, but I've managed to get an underhook, so now we actually can. How did I get that underhook? So Jamie's got double underhooks. So I turn on my side too much. I kind of overcommit to my side, and then as he's trying to free his leg, I bump him forward a little bit, and that gap. See just that slight bump. These little tiny movements make such a difference. So when I bump him forward a little bit, a gap opens up for my arm to come through. It's not a sweep. You're not expecting to sweep them with these bumps. My hips have come forward, so it's like a little bridge from me there. Okay, and then I'll retract my hips to open that gap. Just watch this. Okay, retracted the hips a little bit. My elbows come through, and there's our underhook. Okay, now we're in the Jedi mind trick position. So I'm pressuring the knee. We just do the roll under sweep. That's fine. Okay, so interesting little pummel there. See, I lost a little bit of positioning here on the foot. See, I've got his foot. That's Jamie's foot. I've got it trapped nice and good. And he does a really nice little pummel there. Okay, and he's actually, I've lost a lot of control on that leg right now. So I have to try to. Hopefully, yeah, I worked to get that back. I actually just circled to get that back. Okay, and now I feel comfortable to apply pressure for the roll under sweep. That wouldn't work without that leg positioning.
Yep. Alright, so Tim's on top in the front headlock position. I want to get to my half guard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit to one hip and start to scoot away. Okay, I'm going to focus on the underhook first, and then I'll focus on the leg second. Okay, so sit to the hip. I'm going to scoot in now to get the underhook. So you kind of move away onto your hip, but then to get the underhook, you see here, if Tim wants, he could probably remove that underhook by pushing down here or re-pummeling. So as soon as I'm reaching for it, I want to be scooting now with my right leg down and around the corner like this. So try and remove that now, Tim. Much more difficult to do. So as soon as we're going to sit, catch, and then start to scoot around using our leg, keeping this one tight. So again, don't try to catch, do not try to fall down and catch with your feet. They will jump. So I'm here and I try and go like this. The half guard, I get put into side control. I focus on getting the underhook first, the control. So I fall, I get the underhook and I start scooting around. Okay, because here, if we keep going, keep circling, here, at any point, I'm going to actually fall down onto my left shoulder in a moment, almost inviting Tim to go to side control, but I've got the underhook like this. So Tim, go to side control. I'm reaching for his foot with my hand, feeding it to my leg, and I've got my half guard underhook. So when I've got that underhook and I've got good angle, it doesn't matter if they go to side control if I'm waiting for that leg. So I'm going to fall down, we're gonna get our underhook, we're gonna scoot around like this, and then I just start, if he's not actively doing it, I'm gonna start reaching for that leg anyway, okay? Because there's not where a lot of places he can go, okay? Once I got that ankle, it's pretty much guaranteed I'm getting the underhook, and a good underhook too, a good sweeping chance here. So if Tim's going for the TOREANDO pass like this, or basically he's outside my legs trying to get around. Again, really common mistake. Tim's outside the legs, I start shooting for the legs. Okay? He's got massive levers now. My legs are open wide, he can really turn me, and it's not hard for him to miss that. So it's better to keep this space here closed. So as he goes around, I'm keeping this tight. Okay? And I want to be blocking with my frames. Focus on the upper body first, and then you'll be able to work back to your half guard. So I've got my frame here, like this. I block the arm, and I'm starting to get my left knee towards the shoulder. At any point, if you feel you have to, you can pummel this back over to get through in and around the hip. Okay? Now that I've got these controls, Tim's pressuring into me and he's trying to run around. Once I've got that, I actually am confident that I can shoot my leg through and catch. But notice I still don't really extend too far away. So if we go again, I don't like take my knee too far away from my body when I do this, okay? If Tim was all the way back, I wouldn't try to shoot for the half guard here, but keep in front of him, okay? Want him to come forward to block that, and now I can catch here, okay? So don't extend all the way out. Now I've got like a reverse Della here. So again, Tim passes around, focus on the upper body. Get your frames in, keep this all controlled first, and then we can start working to catch our half guard, or reverse teleheaver variant of the half guard. Sometimes someone will start to pass, they get outside your legs, and you manage to have an underhook here like this. What I would encourage here, anytime you got the underhook but they're outside the legs, try to drop it down lower, okay? Because if I stay high underhook with no control, I've got to worry about Tim running away, and I lose everything. This whole thing just doesn't go to front control. I lose that whole control. And I also, if we go back, have to worry about Tim stepping over into mount or an omoplata. Yes, like this, okay? What I want to do, if I had that underhook and he got outside the legs, I want to change towards the knee. Okay, so Tim starts to run around, change towards the knee, because now I've got I usually like to actually grab the shin a little bit, because I find the knee he can sprawl out on a bit better. The shin will keep his hips turned a bit, and he'll be pulling me around, okay? And as he goes around, I just start moving towards my stomach, and I want to start getting up, okay? Now that I'm up, I can actually shoot back into a better position like we did from the front headlock. Shoot my right leg in this time. I can catch like this, or maybe I can switch to an underhook here, because he's now much more in line with me, and I can start reaching for this leg, okay? But when he's starting to get an angle on me, keeping this underhook around the hip is a very bad idea, okay? So we're going to chase the leg. I'll do that whole sequence once more. I just want to cover one thing which I think is a good concept or thing to utilize to try to stop people from getting a good crossface on you. Okay, so anytime I might get the underhook and Tim starts to get outside the legs, so I've lost my control here, Tim's outside the legs, got an underhook. If Tim gets a good crossface, I'm in a lot of trouble here like this, okay? Or if he controls my elbow really well, I can't turn in or really make much space here either. So both of these are bad. This is called we call this the pillow defense, but basically you put your elbow reasonably high and put your head on your arm like it's a pillow, okay? So from here, let's turn a little bit. Tim, cross-face me. Pick my elbow up and control it. So you can see, by having my head here, it helps prevent Tim from really controlling my arm or controlling my head. Okay, so obviously while he's going for my arm, I can be working, circling grips, trying to deal with that as I start to recover. Okay, so we call that the pillow defense. Sometimes you'll have managed to get the underhook and the person is in managed to pass like outside the legs to side control. But if you got a good underhook, sometimes that stops like. Even though Tim's in side control here, like he's outside the legs, he's not across my body. My underhook's working quite hard to stop Tim from like trying to turn 90 degrees to me. Like I'm staying pretty close to him here. When that's the case, we can often use our right hand to reach to this leg, bump behind the hips, because I'm in line with him, my knee can go behind his hips, so my left knee here goes behind his hips, bumps forward, opens this gap here to push his leg and trap, and that actually takes us to the to this like knee cut underhook position, which we work all the Jedi mind trick and the back step counters from. Okay, so again, we can have the underhook if we can get in line with them. If we've got a good underhook that keeps us in line with them, even though their leg can be gone, we can bump forward, push, and we trap the leg, ready to get back up into actually a really good position.